Ladies and gentlemen, behold, image 3850. Image 3850 is a photograph of a very expensive house out in Malibu, California. And in the age of the internet, this innocuous picture may as well be the fifth horseman of the apocalypse for reasons we're about to discover. Hi everybody, I'm Bill Whittle. And to discuss what that photograph of a Malibu mansion has in common with an out-of-uniform police officer in Missouri, our Trifecta stalwart Scott Ott, and sitting in for Steve Green this week, the lovely and talented Michelle Fields. Well, guys, here's the skinny. A man named Jordan Claffer was firing his gun on his own private property back in Missouri. Officer Jerry Bledsoe arrives on the scene. Let's listen in on the fun, shall we?
I need to probably take your guns.
Take my guns.
Until we decide if these people want to sign a complaint.
Okay, and you are going to take my guns, why?
Because we got a complaint that you're firing guns here at your residence, which is in Village Kelso.
Okay.
And you're disturbing the peace of the neighborhood.
Okay, disturbing the peace. It's not any time after dark.
I'm not going to argue with you.
Okay, well,
Do you want to turn the guns over to me?
I do not consent.
Okay, so a police officer who appears to be out of uniform, at least I hope to God he's out of uniform, arrives to answer a noise complaint and maybe steps over his boundaries a little bit by saying, I'm going to take all your guns. So far, this kind of thing happens pretty much every day. Police come to investigate a noise complaint, but after this incident, Claffer, the guy who was firing the guns, posts this video that you're watching now on YouTube, as well as some stills on Instagram. Now that's a little more unusual, but still nothing worth mentioning. Probably a 30-hit video, something like that. No one's watching this out of the billions of rants that appear on YouTube every day. However, Officer Bledsoe decides to take this to court. He obtains an injunction, and a judge legally demands that the videos and stills be taken off of the internet. Now, all of a sudden, it's a national news story on police arrogance, Second Amendment rights, and First Amendment rights. Now, Michelle, at this point, what do you think happened? Why do you think it happened? And what can people like Jerry Bledsoe in the red shirt learn about something like this in the age of the internet?
Well, you can't delete anything from the internet. Once it's uploaded
That's
on the
exactly
internet, it's
right.
there. It's not going anywhere. I'm sure it's been put up on all different websites, and there's no way that some judge is going to be able to take that all down. Once it's up, it's up. There's nothing you can do. It just spreads like wildfire.
Well, Scotty, the only thing, that I've ever seen young people genuinely actually get politically fired up about is when the government tries to censor the internet. It's the only time I see genuinely young people get really, really cranked. So is this kind of antibody response to the repression of information, kind of swarm it and disperse it and magnify what's supposed to be banned? Is this one of the last battlefields for the preservation of that seemingly inbred American response of damning people who try to tell us what we can and cannot do?
It's awesome. It's awesome. And in fact, the funny thing is, you look at this video, and I'll bet you there are a lot of people out there who said, yeah, take his guns away, take his guns away. And then they found out that they were taking the video down. They're like, no, don't touch the video. You can't mess with that video. You're not going to block that or restrict his freedom to promulgate his video. But yeah, it's okay if you grab his guns. And I think what really the law enforcement people need to figure out that they're on video all the time. If you're going to put us in a prison farm where we've got video cameras on every corner and every store and in every place we go, and we're on all the time, folks, you got to expect that you're on all the time. And if you're going to be on, you can't expect to go up to somebody's house and act like Barney Fife and go, well, I guess we're going to have to take your guns because we might have had a complaint, and if somebody signs it, then I guess we take your guns first, and then we find out if somebody's actually willing to complain. And, he just looked like an idiot. This is good. This is good for liberty, that people see this. They need to know that this is how some people are treating our liberties. And I'm thrilled that happened without knowing anything about, for all I know, the guy was out there shooting neighbors' dogs and doing something awful. I don't know. But the fact that the police treated it this way needs to be known, and I'm so glad it can be.
Me too. And one of the very first lessons about this, officer, is if you find yourself in a deep hole, you should probably stop digging. That'd be my first advice. But Let's go back to image 3850. Now, it's part of an aerial survey done to chronicle beach erosion. Turns out, back in 2003, the owner of this particular house had a hissy fit and legally tried to block its inclusion in an online gallery of thousands of such images, claiming that it was a violation of her very, very, very dear privacy. She's an important person, you see. She didn't want this image of her house, which is set well back from the peasants out there on the road, getting out. So she sued the people who posted it for $50 million and demanded that it be removed. That person was Barbra Streisand. Image 3850 is a picture of Barbra Streisand's house. Now, as a person who routinely flies above Malibu in a small private aircraft, an activity she also tried to ban, as I recall, because I'm not allowed to fly over her airspace, apparently her personal airspace, and I'm not allowed to look directly at her house. I must avert her eyes, my eyes rather, when I'm in the vicinity of her property. Before her attempt to have it legally removed from the internet, image 3850 had been seen 6 times. After her attempt to have it legally removed from the internet, it had been seen about 420,000 times. The moral of these stories? Well, 10 years later, after her efforts, here we are again, looking at an internet picture that she tried to ban. It's called the Streisand effect. And the moral of the story seems to be that if you want to take someone's guns away, you may not also want to take away their freedom to show you doing so. And if you live in magnificent glass houses, you shouldn't throw fits. For PJTV, I'm Bill Whittle.